Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at some resource packs which are available for Minecraft 1.17. Instead of looking at full-on packs which overhaul everything, I just want to focus on smaller packs which mostly change one or two elements, so that we can keep that vanilla feeling. I found all these packs on CurseForge, and you can download them using the links in the description below. Jerm's Better Leaves make some changes to leaf blocks so that they look more bushy, similar to what you see in the Better Foliage mod. The collision isn't changed, so you can walk through some of the bushier parts. If you're using Optifine, then the colors of some of the leaves are changed depending on the biome you're in, and you should find the likes of pink and yellow colored leaves from now on. Next up is Fresh Animations, which actually focuses on animations over textures. It affects lots of mobs, with more being added in each update. Creatures like the Blaze, Iron Golem, Creeper, Spider, and more have had changes made to them. In most cases, there are some new movement animations, as you'll notice that villagers have a breathing effect, and zombies look more lifelike too. A big change is made to the Iron Golem, who now has a single eyebrow which moves. It's a pretty impressive resource pack overall. Visible ores is going to be very useful for when you're mining. Ore blocks will now have an outline which glows, making them easy to spot. The ore itself also glows, so you should be able to see them from further distances. Although this might not always be the best option, as I quite like the glowing ores which are provided with the complementary shaders, as they're a bit more subtle. You'll likely already know about Tissou's zombie pack, but it's worth mentioning anyway. It makes changes to zombies, zombie villagers, husks, and drowned. The biggest change you'll notice is that there's over 1,000 new textures for these mobs, making them more unique, and a little more human-like too. Thanks to Optifine, the zombies will also have glowing eyes, which looks great and ominous during the night. Finally, the changed creatures will also have some new sound effects, which I think are a lot scarier. Enchanted Tools kind of reminds me of the Tinker's Construct mod. When you apply an enchantment to your tools, the texture will be changed depending on what's been applied. There's different themes, like how quartz represents sharpness, or the emerald appearance represents fortune. These changes also apply to bows, tridents, fishing rods, and crossbows. If shears or a flint and steel have the mending enchantment, they'll also look a little different. Likewise, there's Enchanted Swords, which does the same thing and is from the same developer. Depending on the enchantment applied to your sword, the appearance will change significantly. If the sword has the fire aspect enchantment, then it will even have animations. With these packs, the better enchantment will control what texture the sword has, instead of being a combination. You can use a resource pack like Creatures Plus to add more variation to the animals in your world, with some animals creating new breeds altogether. As an example, the fox now has variations which allow it to spawn as a raccoon, badger, or red panda. Or dolphins can spawn as orcas and whales. Even wolves are changed, so that they now represent some different breeds of dogs. There's more changes the pack provides, and it works alongside the previously mentioned Fresh Animations pack. Classic 3D is a pack which changes the textures of lots of blocks to give them more depth. It makes changes to lots of blocks, but some of the more noticeable might be on planks and cobblestone, which you'll notice when wandering through villages. Lots of flowers are also changed so they aren't so flat, and there's more changes to rails, ladders, doors, and torches. I can only see the Spawn Egg 3D pack being useful in some situations, but I like it anyway. Instead of spawn eggs all looking similar and impossible to memorize, they'll now look like the creature they spawn, but as a smaller version. The Brewing Canvas is a new texture which replaces the Corbett painting in Minecraft. It's 2 blocks wide, and when you look at it, you can see the recipe for every potion in the game, meaning you don't have to constantly check the Wikipedia. Another resource pack which adds elements from Better Foliage is Round Trees. Any logs in your world will now have a rounded effect with this pack enabled. Personally, I find this to be very hit or miss, as they look great in some situations like on bridges and trees, but they become more difficult to look appealing while stacking horizontally. Elytras Plus adds over 150 new designs to the Elytra, which you can determine by renaming it in an anvil. There's a link to all the names at the bottom of the mod page. There's the flags of some different countries, all different colors, and lots which are themed around vanilla Minecraft items. There's a few other items you can rename like shields and helmets to create new items. Although it's been made for older versions, the Crops 3D Resource Pack works in newer versions. It works well with other packs I've mentioned, as crops including carrots, beetroot, wheat, potatoes, and more will now have a 3D appearance instead of their traditional thin paper look. The Invisible Item Frame Pack does what you'd expect and makes item frames be visible. It's mostly going to be useful for displaying items on floors or walls as decoration, as the ugly frames won't break immersion anymore. You can turn on hitboxes by pressing F3 and B if you can't find where you place them. If you want your weapons and armors to look more traditional and medieval instead, try out cowls, arms, and armor. I like how they all look, and I think they still fit Minecraft nicely, especially with some mod packs. There are variant textures too, so by taking items into an anvil, you can customize them further, as armor items have both a light and heavy variant, whereas swords can be turned into daggers and katanas, for example. Adding some more animations is blinking ender eyes, which I think would be great in the vanilla game. Ender eyes, which are in your inventory, will now blink periodically, although where they look great is inside the end portal frame, where the eyes will randomly open and close, watching you before you jump in. Unity Dark Edition will kind of force Minecraft into dark mode. It changes a lot of interfaces and elements so they're dark instead, and they don't strain your eyes. It'll be darker when Minecraft is in the loading screen as well as the main menu. While you're in game, then all your interfaces like inventories and chests will be dark too. If you don't play with shaders, then you might like the Dramatic Skies Resource Pack. Starting with the sun and moon, they look very different, as they've lost their classic square shape and are now rounded with realistic textures, with the stars at night also looking different. The most noticeable changes are the clouds, which now look like real clouds instead of giant blocks, and the textures are very high resolution and crisp. Another pack that changes a lot of HUD elements is GUI Remastered. It aims to make it more interesting, adding depth to a lot of elements and new colors. It changes the hotbar, your health, hunger, and boss bar. A lot of potion effects are also changed, and there's an option to choose between a light or dark mode for interfaces, which is a lot more stylized than the vanilla game. Another pack which works with shaders is Water Improved. It makes water a lot more transparent so you can actually see through it instead of being a bright blue texture. That's the end of my first ever resource pack video. I know there's lots of packs available on Planet Minecraft, and maybe I'll look at those soon too. If you want to look at some Minecraft mods, then check out my channel instead. And if you want me to cover more resource packs, let me know.